6 months later and I'm back. Hopefully it won't be as long between videos as that last time. But let me start off with some free advice. It has nothing to do with the story I'm about to tell you, but it just happened to me tonight. First off, when you ask for a large queso, make sure you understand how large the queso is. And second, make sure you know how much it costs without just swiping your card thinking everything's okay. It's probably like 8 ounces and it's gonna cost like $6 or something. Tonight, I bought a 32-ounce queso for $30. $30. If queso isn't running through my veins currently, it will be by the end of this week. And as always, this is just for friends. This story's back from college, like many of the others, so if you don't like my college stories, then find another channel. Guy Gronman had just gotten this new longboard. We literally got it out of the package that day. It was sitting around the house, and it got kind of dark outside, and I thought, there's less cars out. Let's go bomb the biggest freaking hill in Warrensburg, Missouri. So we set off to do it. Growing up, high school, college, I did skateboard. I guess, kind of looked like a skater in high school with baggy pants and black hair. And, I'd wear an Independent hoodie thinking I was really cool. Could I kickflip?
Nope.
Could I ollie?
Yeah, right.
Could I ride around and just look like I knew what I was doing?
A little bit.
My friend Dalen actually could skateboard, and he could do like double kickflips and manual for like a minute at a time. So I was like, hey, you should come with me. We're gonna go ride down this hill. And he was like, that sounds like a fun idea. Or he probably thought, I'll just see you crash and burn, so I'll tag along. Back then, I'd never actually seen anyone longboard. So I didn't know that you're supposed to carve, kind of like you're skiing down a hill, because I thought, hell, just freaking bomb it and go as fast as you possibly can. If you have never skateboarded before, there's this thing called speed wobbles. So it's when you get going too fast and the trucks are too loose and the board literally starts to wobble out of control. And by that point, your legs cannot actually steady the board to make it go straight. So at that point, you have a couple choices. You can either eat the asphalt or you can try to bail off into maybe a safe place. I'd already planned out that at the bottom of this hill, there was a yard that was really lush with grass. I thought, worst case scenario, I'm just gonna veer off to the right of the street. I'm gonna jump off, skid through some grass, but I'll be fine. The speed wobbles start occurring. I'm getting really wobbly legs and I'm like, I gotta bail. There's that lady's yard. I'm gonna jump off into it. I missed my landing zone by about 5 feet. So I did hit her yard, but only for a second before I came across her driveway. And this driveway was concrete, but instead of being like smooth, nice concrete, it was where it was all broken up. So some pieces were there, some pieces were crumbly, and it just shaved like an 8-inch piece off of my shin. I immediately was in pain. Dalen didn't have any speed wobbles. He came down the hill fine and stopped and came over to see if I was okay, helped me up. I was bleeding really bad. I was in a lot of burning pain, and we were about a half mile from my house. So I had to hobble back the rest of the way to the house injured. As always, there were a bunch of people at my house that night. So when I came in, everyone was asking me what happened. They were laughing. We were having a good time. I was still really in pain. But the big pain came when my friend Chris King said, we need to clean that thing out. What better way to do that than pour rubbing alcohol all over your leg? I have no clue why I listened to him. He was a little bit older, or at least he looked a lot older because he had gray hair. So I thought, you know what? He probably knows what he's talking about. So I let him pour the alcohol directly on my leg, and it immediately was like fire ants were biting me all over my shin. It was really, really horrible. The story doesn't end there though, because a couple weeks later, it really started to scab up. It was starting to come off. I had a gnarly scar I knew I was gonna have, so I started, as any guy does, started picking the scab off. There was actually a piece of scab because I had a tattoo on my shin that was turning blue from the ink. So it got deep enough to actually take some of the ink out of my tattoo. And to this day, that whole area is a lot lighter colored than the rest of the tattoo. Why I bring up the scab is because In college, we're always paying someone to do something stupid. In this case, my friend Josh Haney was looking for a way to get maybe some soda or some candy that night, and we decided, why not pay him to eat a quarter-sized piece of my scab? We came up with like $4 and some change when we were trying to get $5 to get Josh to do it, and he decided that it was enough. So he popped that crunchy baby right in his mouth. I talked to Josh tonight and I was asking him if he remembers how it tasted. I wish I could show you that recording. Unfortunately, it didn't have audio, so I'm just gonna share a few of the highlights that Josh gave me. He said that when he put it in his mouth and he chewed on it, it wasn't actually as bad as he thought, but then quickly it started tasting really irony, like a penny. And then later, he was finding little hunks of it in his teeth throughout the night, and every time it would get that nasty blood taste and almost go down the back of his throat and make him gag. So it was a long burn after he crunched that baby up. Josh is one of my best friends throughout all of my years of college. I still am close with him today, and it's a funny story that we can always look back on because at that time in our lives, $5 was a huge amount of money. Josh went to Walmart immediately. He bought like a 12-pack of Volt, which is like kind of knockoff Mountain Dew meets Sprite meets Mountain Lightning, probably lower than Mountain Lightning, honestly. And then a bag of Sour Patch Kids. So, you know, all in a day's work, easy way to make $5 and get you something that gets you through those long homework nights when we're in college. As long as I've known Josh, everyone calls him by his last name if they're gonna give him a nickname, Haney. But ultimately, I think we should change it to the Cannibal.